We'll start with heterocyclic compounds. So what are these heterocyclic compounds? The compounds which contains only carbon atom in the ring, carbon and hydrogen atom in the ring, they are known as carbocyclic compounds. So they are known as what? Carbocyclic. Now what are these heterocyclic compounds? Heterocyclic compounds are organic compounds that contain a ring structure containing an atom in addition to the carbon, such as sulfur, oxygen, nitrogen, as the heteroatom. The ring may be aromatic or a non-aliphatic or an aromatic cyclic compound. Okay. In contrast, the rings of homocyclic contains the atoms of the same element. So that's the difference between homocyclic and heterocyclic compound. Now let's go. What are heterocyclic compounds? Classified according to aliphatic and aromatic. Aliphatic means fully saturated, cyclohexanes, aromatic, pyridine, aliphatic heteroatoms include your aliphatic includes piperidine, pyrrolidine. So these are the aliphatic heterocyclic compounds. Aromatic includes your pyridine, furan, all these examples, thiophene, they are all heterocyclic aromatic derivative compounds. So aliphatic heterocyclics are cyclic analogs of your amines, ethers, thioether, um, and amides, etc. Many what all the atoms which can contain. The aromatic in contrast are those which have an heteroatom in the ring and behave in a manner similar to that of your benzene in their property. So they've got properties similar to that of your benzene. That means they are conjugated, cyclic, and they follow the cyclic. So they follow the Huckel's rule. Okay, Huckel's rule, that is 4n plus 2 pi electron. So these things are followed by this aromatic heterocyclic compounds. So they include alkaloids, antibiotics, essential amino acids, vitamins, hemoglobin, hormones. They're all your heterocyclic compounds. They're also present in your synthetic dyes. Most of your drugs which you study contains one or another heterocyclic ring in it. So that's a very important topic in your medicinal chemistry. It's an important topic in your medicinal chemistry. Now let's go to the nomenclature of this heterocyclic compounds. So there are 4 basic rules which has to be remembered. The heteroatoms are given a name and it's used as prefix. For nitrogen it is aza, for oxygen O it is oxa, for sulfur it is thia, S, for phosphor it is phosphor, arsenic it is arsa or As, sila it is used for silicon, selena it is used for selenium, bora it is used for boron, and so on. So A ending is dropped in the next syllable if it contains an vowel next to it. So if one contains aza and it is a 3-membered ring, IREN, so I is a vowel. So you try to come together on and make a name as azirine. One of the vowel is removed, A is removed. Okay, and thus you write the number. The ring size is designated by stems that follow the prefix. For 3 atoms it is IR. For 4 atoms it is EAT, oxyet. For 5 atoms it is all. For 6 atoms it is in, 7 EP, 8 is oc, 9 is on, and so on. So these are some of the prefixes which are used in case of your ring size. We'll be seeing it in details when we see the structures of the compound. So these are the rules that you have to remember how to write the. Now the third rule states that if fully unsaturated, the name concludes with the suffix for ring size. 3 it is in, except in case of nitrogen it is ine. 4, 5, 6 atoms it is E, and for 7, 8, 9 it is ine. So these are the suffixes after the name. These letters are introduced to know the ring size. Okay, if fully saturated, the suffix is ANE. So ending will be ANE. Okay, for all the rings except for nitrogen, which uses idine. 3, 4, 5, 6 it is A. For prefix for 6 hydrogen, the prefix hexahydro is used. As you can, tetrahydropurine, tetrahydropyridine can be used. You can name it like this also. There is an alternate names which can be given. Okay. Also, the name oxane, not oxane, can be used for 6-membered oxygen containing ring. So the simultaneous different names can be generic name, trivial name also can be given to this compounds. Other exceptions that may be present are phosphorus, arsenic, boron. These are the other heteroatoms that can be present, okay, which we don't study much. But usually we will be studying more about your sulfur, oxygen, and nitrogen. So these are the 3 heteroatoms which will be dealing in more in your heterocyclic compound. Okay. Now let us go the naming as the rules, how it applies to the structures. Now let us go one by one. Heteroatom which is present. Now on the, when you go down the column, it is your number of atoms in the ring, and towards, if you see on the row, it is the heteroatom that is present in the ring. So it is, now let us consider a saturated 3-atom ring containing nitrogen. It is known as aziridine. If it contains oxygen, it is known as oxyrene. If it is sulfur, it is known as thiarine. Now for the unsaturated, when there is unsaturation in the ring, in case of 3-atom ring, nitrogen content is known as azirine. In case of oxygen, it is oxyrene. In case of sulfur, it is called thiarine. This is for 3-atom ring containing oxygen, nitrogen, and sulfur. Now let us go for 4-atom ring with 1 heteroatom. Nitrogen, it is known as acetidine. Oxygen, it is known as oxetane. For sulfur, it is known as thietane. T-E-H-I-E-T-A-N. Okay, thietane. Now, if it is now for the same compounds, unsaturation, if it is present, if there is an unsaturation present, nitrogen containing unsaturated 4-membered ring is known as acid. Oxygen, it is known as oxide, and for sulfur, it is known as thiate. So this is the name of 4-atom ring containing oxygen, nitrogen, and sulfur. Now let's go for the next 5-membered ring. Nitrogen containing, it is known as pyrrolidine. Oxetane for oxygen, sulfur was thiotine. Sulfur is thiotine. Nitrogen for unsaturated ring, it is pyrrole, furan for oxygen, and thiophene for your sulfur. This was for 5-membered ring. Now let's go for the 6-membered ring. Nitrogen containing 6-membered ring is known as piperidine. 6-membered oxygen containing known as oxane. 6-membered sulfur containing saturated ring is known as thiane. So your last 3 words is A-N-E, A-N-E, O-N-A-N-E, oxane. But only difference is in your nitrogen. It is piperidine, I-E-I-D-E-N-E. So this is the difference between your nitrogen containing and other sulfur and oxygen. Now let's go for your saturated, unsaturated ring. Nitrogen containing 6-membered ring is your pyridine. For your oxygen, it is known as styrene, and for your sulfur, it is known as thiopyrene. It is known as thiopyrene. Now, 7-membered ring, nitrogen can saturate, it is azipane, oxygen is oxypane, and thiopene. And whereas your unsaturated known as azipine, oxypine, and thiopene. So these are the nomenclature according to the ring size and the heteroatom with monoheteroatom. Only 1 heteroatom is one. This is your nomenclature which you have to remember. Okay, these are some of the prefixes: oxa, aza, thia, selena, as we explained in your rules. Thia, tellura, phosphor, arsa, sila, and the valence is associated with this heteroatom. This was designed by Hans and Widman. Okay, these are some of the suffixes that are applied, which we studied just now when we are reading the structure. 3 is in case of nitrogen. Unsaturated, it is irine, and without nitrogen, it is irene. Okay, with iridine and irene. So this is eat, this is same, etidine and ethene. It's for saturated. So these are some of the suffixes that are used in case of your heteroatoms. and the namings in your heteroatoms. So these are the antiques which you are studying. Now, as we said, in case of, we can use tetrahedral. Saturated or hydrogenated ring can be named also, as we said, dihydro or tetrahydro, or as in case of your tetrahydrofuran. So furan is your basic ring and all the four carbons are saturated. So we can write it as tetrahydrofuran. In this particular structure, it is known as tetrahydrofuran. These are some of the, if it contains one saturation, it is known as, if it contains a single unsaturated double bond, single double bond, then it is known as dihydrofuran, and if all the four carbons are saturated, then it is known as tetrahydrofuran. Let's go for the heterocyclic compounds with more than one heterocycle. So till now we are studying only one. Now what is the nomenclature used when there is more than one heteroatom? So usually what is the rules for the stems? Indicate the ring size, suffixes, degree of answer used, prefixes, and various atom remains the same as that your first one. Okay, they are listed in the following order of the priority derived from the mains. So here your periodic, their position in the periodic table determines their priority in your naming. Their position in your periodic table determines the priority in the naming. So with each group increasing in atomic number. So in group 6, it is oxygen, sulfur, here selenium and tellurium, and group 5 it is nitrogen, phosphor, and group 6 it is, group 4 it is selenium. So basically what we consider is the three groups: oxygen, sulfur, and nitrogen. So the priority will be, first is oxygen, which then followed by sulfur and nitrogen. This will be the priority. Usually we have to consider. Most of the cases, this is what we have to consider: oxygen, sulfur, and nitrogen. Okay, let's go for the next. So this is what we said: priorities of oxygen should be given in the ring. If it can oxygen and nitrogen, first priority will be given to your oxygen. If it is oxygen and sulfur also, it is oxygen that has been given first priority, then your sulfur. Now if it contains sulfur and nitrogen, the first priority should be given to your sulfur. Okay, and then the naming should start. The first heteroatom is very much important. The saturated heteroatom. Now the next thing, the saturated heteroatom is, if the saturated heteroatom with an extra hydrogen attached is given a priority. So what does this mean? If there is a saturated and a heteroatom which is included in an unsaturation, the priority will always be given to your saturated. This is more common in your nitrogen. This is more common in your nitrogen. If there are two nitrogens, okay, the one with a saturated nitrogen, that is with an hydrogen, will be given the first priority than the heteroatom which is found in double bonds or triple bonds. So you have to know where should be. So a saturated heteroatom should be given priority over an unsaturated heteroatom in the ring. So as in case of 1H13 diazole. In this place, the N is at the first position, that is NH, because it is saturated, and their N is at the third position, which is an unsaturated nitrogen. So always the priority should be given to the first saturated nitrogen. Okay, we'll be seeing it further when we'll be doing the discussion. The number are grouped together in front of the hetero listing. So the numbers are put before. So 1,3-oxazole means what? It is not 1-oxa-3-azole. It is always given together. The groups are oxa and aza. So it contains an vowel in between. A is the common vowel. So it will become oxazole. This is how you name the compound. It is not 1-oxa-3-azole we write. We will always write as combined form. We will always write as a combined form of the two oxazole. 1 and 3. 1 is the position of your nitrogen. 3 is the position of your nitrogen. And together when we write the structure 1, 3 dash, the numbers are separated from the new letters by a dash. Okay. So 1,3-oxa. So the heteroatom prefixes always the number in the priorities. So always the number is given and the priority. Okay. Now let's go for the next rule. Okay, next go for the next one. The rings with more than, for rings with more punctuation, as I said earlier, I was telling, punctuation is important. In an example to follow, a comma separates the number. If you see 1 3, it is 1 comma 3. So the comma separates the two number and the dash separates the number from the heteroatom prefixes. The dash separates the number from the heteroatom prefixes. Okay. Slight modification is used when two vowels adjoin. So when there are two vowels that come together, one of this thing like oxaza. So one of the vowel is removed and you get oxa. This is how you do the naming as I explained earlier. As for a monohetero cycle, the substituent on the rings are listed alphabetically, the ring atom number for each, not the groups together. So single group it is. The position matters if there are two or more than. Okay. So these are some of the examples. 1,4-diazine, that is known as pyrazine common name. 1,3-diazine. Why it is called diazine? Because it has got two. See, all are azine, 6-membered ring. So it your suffix will be ine, azine, because it contains an 2 nitrogen. It is diazine, 1,4-diazine. Now, in case of oxazole, it is called 1,3-oxazole. Why? Because oxygen should be given the first priority and it is saturated, and your nitrogen is given the third priority as per the periodic table, and it is a 5-membered ring. That's why it is called as OLE, O-L-E, azole. Okay. Similarly, in case of your 1,3,4, oxadiazole. Why? Oxygen is given 1 and there are nitrogen at 3 and 4 position. That's why it is known as oxadiazole. So this is how you do the numbering. So first is oxygen, then nitrogen at 3 and 4. That is why it is called oxa, which is followed by your nitrogen, that is R2 diazole. Zole means it is a 5-membered ring. So from this nomenclature, we will come to know what type of ring it is, what heteroatom is present, and what is the position of your heteroatom can be understood by this. Okay. Now let's go for the next. So in case this was all monocyclic. Now what happens when there are two rings? What happens when there are two rings fused together? Such type of compounds are known as bicyclic compounds. So common examples which are fused is benzene is fused to your heterocyclic compound ring. When benzene is fused to your heterocyclic compound, then you write it as, you put a prefix benzo. And the point of attachment is indicated by a letter that defines the phase of the heterocyclic. Now, what is the phase? So there will be, like in case of your pyridine, it has got 6 phases. It has got 6 phases. So which phase attaches to your benzene is the number. So between carbon 1 and 2, it is known as A. Between element 2 and 3, it is known as B. Between 3 and 4, it is known as C. Between 4 and 5, it is known as D. Between 5 and 6, it is known as E. And 6 and 1, if it is 6, then it is known as F. So which position is it attached is known. Okay, that is known as phase. And they are written, given a number, and they are written inside the bicycles. Okay, entire bicycle. Then given new numbers for the bicyclo compounds. After they are fused, they are given the 2 numbers. Now let's go for the, what is the next thing? The rules remain the same. The letter that faces the mono is placed inside the ring. If you see, it is, there is a square packet in which there you write the number, and the numbers of the ring and the positions are written in the as a whole shown in outside. Okay, when we will be writing, so the position D dash will be explaining each and everything where the position. Okay, the final numbering always should be given. So final numbering, it depends upon your rule. So lowest number should be given to oxygen, followed by sulfur and nitrogen and phosphorus rule. So numbering should start off the heterocyclic from oxygen. If it is oxygen and nitrogen, then oxygen should be given the first. Then you have to go for the numbering of the ring. So ring numbering is very much important. You should follow the same rule what we are studying before. First should be given to the oxygen, sulfur and nitrogen. Okay, this rule has to be followed in the numbering. We'll be studying it with the examples. Then we will come to know more. Then we'll be studying with the example. The position of the ring fusion bears a number and predicts the ring atom with the letter A attached. Okay, the brackets are used to around the face letters and the name is put together without spaces except dash to separate the bracket from the number if present. Example, benzo D. So benzene is fused at which end D of 1,3-thiazole. So it is benzothiazole. So benzene is fused to a thiazole. Which ring it is at the D phase of your thiazole? It is fused to your benzene. And the oxygen and sulfur at 1 and the 3 position. So it is this is your name. So benzo followed by a bracket. It is the phase where the heteroatom fuses with your benzene. So this is how you do the nomenclature. A convention frequently used to write the structure with an heteroatom ring is on the right. So always your heteroatom ring will be there on the right with the heteroatom on the bottom. So always remember when you write a fused, the heteroatom should always be on the heterocyclic ring should be always be on the right, and the benzo fused should be always on the left. And the heteroatom, the least heteroatom, the first atom which you are naming should be always be on the bottom. So this is what you have to consider. Okay. If two heterocyclic rings are fused, additional rules are required, which I'll be explaining you. Okay. The parent ring is selected, the other ring is considered fused as observed in the benzene. Same is that. So you have to decide which is the parent, whichever is the bigger one will be the parent, and whichever will be the smaller one will be the name. So you have to do same, and you have to follow the same rules as that in case. Nitrogen, if there is one ring contains nitrogen, it is considered as a parent and its name is placed in the compound's name. Now let's go for the example. Whatever we have studied, let's see it with an example. Now let us see this particular example of benzofuse. First we'll start with the benzofuse. If you see in the structure, the pyridine ring is on the right hand side and the nitrogen is at the bottom. So this is one of the rules that is in the structure we have fulfilled. Okay. Now see, so between 1 and 2 it is A, between 2 and 3 it is known as B, between 3 and 4 it is C. So in this particular structure, in case of quinoline, in this case, so benzo is fused to pyridine at which end, which phase? B. So that B is written in the bracket. It is B is written in the bracket, square bracket, followed by pyridine. You have to put a dash over there. Usually, put a dash. Even without dash also, if there is numbering, then put a dash. Without numbering also, you can. Now let's go for the next example. That is isoquinone. It is also same pyridine fused to your benzo. But look over here. Which is the side which is getting attached? If you see nitrogen 1, 2, and the least attachment, okay, 1, 2 is A, 2, 3 is B, and 3, 4 is C. So the point of attachment is between 3 and 4 with the benzene ring. So it is the C phase that gets bonded to your benzo. That is known as benzo C-pyridine. So isoquinoline's other name is benzo C-quinoline because the C phase of your pyridine is fused to the benzene ring. So that is one example. Now let's go for your indole. What is this indole? It contains an pyrrole ring. Pyrrole means nitrogen with five-membered ring containing nitrogen. Now this is attached to your benzene. That is known as indole. So which position? So it is known as 1H. Why 1H? Because there is an extra hydrogen at your first nitrogen. So that's why it is known as 1H benzo. 1H benzo. And which position it is attached? It is attached at the B phase to your benzene. The pyrrole is attached to your benzene at the B phase and it contains one extra hydrogen at your first nitrogen. That's why it is known as 1H, which comes first followed by dash, that is benzo, B pyrrole. So this is your nomenclature for your benzo fused compound. This is the nomenclature for your benzo fused compound. Now let's go for the if both the rings contain nitrogen. Now this was for only one heteroatom. Now if it contains both the ring contains heteroatom, what we should do? If the both the ring contains nitrogen, let us start with nitrogen. The larger ring is the parent ring. So the larger ring is the parent. Now is pyridine and indo. So which is the larger ring? Your pyridine is your larger ring. So it acts as a parent ring. If both the rings are of same size, that which if both the ring and a nitrogen atom is the parent ring, and if the same number of nitrogen atom is present, the fusion of the ring that gives the smallest number to the nitrogen when in the is chosen. So when the nitrogen getting the smaller number is always chosen. If no nitrogen is present, oxygen is given priority over sulfur, over phosphorus, because basically fused compound are basically more seen in your nitrogen containing compound. If the ring fused to your parent has a suffix O, common name is used. Modification whereas possible to simplify the name. Now let's go for the some examples. So for some examples like pirido. So what are the short forms given for, since the pyridine is the base, benzene you write benzo. For pirido what you write? You write for pyridine you give pirido. For pyrrole you write pyrrole. For thiophene you write thiono. For furan you get furo. For imidazole you write imidazo. For pyrimidine ring it is known as pyrimido. For pyrazine it is known as pyrazino, among others. So these are some of the forms, the naming for your heteroatoms. How to name them for the parent. The face letter of the parent ring with the fusion is always placed in the bracket. So what fuses with this is always placed in the preceding the number of that ring, preceding the number on that ring. The position of the number of the fused ring is always placed inside the bracket. You know there is a bracket in which you write before the face letter of the parent separated by a comma. Okay. The proper numbers of the fused ring are also those that are encountered as one goes around the ring in the same direction. A alphabetical E round around the face. So you have to give alphabetical, means where it fuses alphabetically you have to, and it not to be in a numerical order. It does not to be in a numerical order. You have to just see which is the shortest face, nearest face that attaches to your ring. So let us see with an example. When we see the examples, you'll understand it much better. Now let us see this, consider this example. Okay. What is this? You got a furan which is at B phase, okay, which is connected to an pyrrole, okay, at the beach. So what is your basic nitrogen and furan? So what is your basic oxygen being given higher priority? Your oxygen will be your parent compound. Okay, the oxygen containing ring will be your parent. So it is furo. Now give the numbering. So oxygen is given one numbering. So 1, 2, 3, 4. 3A, 4, 5, 6. So this is your numbering. It is your numbering of the compound. Now, why it is known as 6H? Because there is an extra hydrogen at the sixth put. Numbering is very important. So what did he say? In the priority, oxygen should be given the first priority. Then start with the numbering 1, 2, 3. 4 is the fusion. There is no number. Then 5, 6. Now 6H furo, because furo is your parent compound. Now where it is attached? It is attached at the second and the third. If you see, it is attached at the second and third position of furo to the B side of your pyrrole, to the B face of your pyrrole ring. So that's why the name comes 6H furo 2, 3. Why? Because second and third position of your parent compound fuses with the B phase of your pyrrole. That's why it is called as 6H 5-fluoro 2,3 pyrrole. 6H 5-fluoro 2,3 pyrrole. So this is how you name it. So this is one of the example. where both the rings are of the same side. Here the priority is given to your oxygen compared to that of your nitrogen as per the rule, and the numbering of the heterocyclics changes. How to name? Understood. You have to see which position of your furane, that is 1 and 2, that is a parent, is fused to your which phase of your pyrrole. So then you have to put 2, 3 dash B pyrrole, and furo comes before. That's a parent. So now let's go for the another example. Okay. Here both the rings contains nitrogen. One ring is bigger, one ring is bigger, and other ring is smaller. So here the fusion takes at the second and third position of pyrrole, and on the B phase of pyridine, resulting in your pyrrolo 2,3-B pyridine. Pyrrolo 2,3 pyridine. Okay. So your pyrrole is given first priority, and your pyridine is given your second priority. That is 1H pyrrolo 2,3-B pyridine. So that is your name of your compound. Now one more multicyclic. That was bicyclic. Now multicyclic. How to name? You got indole. Indole is your basic ring. We are considering because you know, and it is fused to your benzene. So 1H, because there is nitrogen at the first position, benzo, and at which position it is fused to your benzene? At the E phase. At the E phase, it is fused to your benzene ring. If you see 1, 2, 3, A, B, C. If you see in this thing, A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H. Okay. So at which position, if you see the cursor, at the E phase, the indole is fused. Here the basic heterocycle, you consider it as an indole. Okay. That is fused to your benzene. That's why the name comes 1H benzo E indole. This is how you name the multicyclic. You have to identify the parent heterocycle, how it is fused to your benzene or any other. So this is how you do the naming of your compound. Anything you can take as per your convenience, but you should know to identify your heterocyclic. If it is, you can also write 1H naphthalene ring. It is attached at the, if you say now, then it is 1 to B, 1H naphtho B indole. You can B pyrrole. This also can be written. Okay, you can write like this. You should know at which position and what basic ring you are trying to find. So anyway, the naming can be done. It's as per your. Okay, so please understand this. This is the very important in basics of your nomenclature of your heterocyclic compound. Okay, these are some of the things what we have studied. The numbering should be, essential substitution should be given the least. The substitution should get the least number in your substitution. The priority should be given. The heteroatom should be always given the first numbering wherever if it is a mono, then first should be given to the heterocycle. If there are two heteroatoms, then the preference should be given to oxygen, sulfur, and the nitrogen, and according to that the numbering has to be given, and the substitution should get the smallest possible number. So these are the basic things that has to be remembered when you are naming the heterocyclic compounds for mono, bi, and if it is fused, what are the things. So some of the common rings are furan, thiophene, pyridine, pyridazine, phenolene. These are always named by a common name. You do not use any IUPAC nomenclature. You directly write it phenolene, indole, purine. So these are the common things. Okay, things that you have to remember. Okay, common names of the compounds. Now, as we explained benzofused, how to write the benzofused compounds, depending upon the position where the drug, where the heteroatom binds with your benzene ring, you can write the structure, give the naming for the compound. Between 1 and 2, it is known as A. Between 2 and 3, it is B. Between 3 and 4, it is C. 4 and 5, D. So where the position is at, you can give the nomenclature of your compound. Benzo B pyridine in case of phenolene, benzo C thiophene in case of your substitution. Also benzo, and in thiopene, thiopene means sulfur is attached. It is a 7-membered ring, and the point of attachment is at the between 5 and 4 and 5. That's why it is known as benzodiazepine. So these are some of the examples of the fused compound. Nomenclature, how to give the nomenclature. If it's so, saturated should be given the first, followed by the position, so least number. Then ethyl methyl. Why it is ethyl methyl? Because 1, 2, 3. At the third position it is ethyl. Fourth position is methyl. Okay. So and the fifth position is methyl. You have to go by alphabetical order over here. 3 position it is methyl, ethyl. Fifth position is methyl, and the ring is pyrosol. And the saturated heteroatom should be given the first priority. Remember the numbering. Always when you name, it should go in alphabetical order. The substitution position will always go in alphabetical. E comes before M. That's why it is 3-ethyl, 5-methyl pyrazole. 1H pyrazole also you can write. 1H, 3-ethyl, 5-methyl pyrazole. Okay. Remember this nomenclature. Very much important. Okay. Next. Now, with maximum unsaturation. So heterocyclic with maximum unsaturation. So when there is unsaturation maximum, and at one position there is a saturation. Rest all position it contains a double bond. At one carbon, if it contains one hydrogen, extra hydrogen, how to name this compound? In an heterocycle ring with maximum unsaturation, if the double bond can be arranged in more than one way, then the position is specified by the numbering those nitrogen or a carbon which is not a multiple bonded. So you have to see which carbon or nitrogen is not multiple bonded and which bears an extra hydrogen. In italics we have to write. So see, it should be written in cross, not straight. It should be written in italic. 1H, 2H. This 1H and 2H names at which carbon or hydrogen contains an extra hydrogen, which contains an extra hydrogen. The position represent which carbon or hydrogen, nitrogen has an extra. So if you came in case this first example, it is 2-methyl, because methyl is at the second position next to your oxygen. 4H. Why? Because if you see the fourth carbon has got an extra hydrogen, in the carbon. That's why it is known as 2-methyl 4H oxide, because oxide is the 4-membered unsaturated heterocyclic ring containing oxygen. Now let's take off 2H pyrrole. The pyrene ring contains an extra hydrogen at the second carbon. That's why it is known as 2H pyrene. 3H azepine means, if you see in the azepine structure, there is an extra hydrogen at the third position. That's why it's known as 3H azepine. That is why it is known as 3H azepine. Now let's go for this pyrimidinone. So what is this pyrimidinone contains? It contains an extra carbonyl group. So when the carbonyl group is introduced, your nitrogen at first position gets an hydrogen. So how do you remember? 2, 1H. Why 2? Because there is an carbonyl group at the second position. 1H pyrimidinone. ONE as at the second position. That's why it is known as 2. Bracket 1H means the position of the extra hydrogen in the pyrimidine ring, and on at the second position. This is how you name the structure, and this is very, very important in your medicinal chemistry, in naming of your starting material on the product. You should know how to name your product. Okay. So this was about. Now if there is when the unsaturation is less. So if there is only one unsaturation in the entire ring, how to name it? You put a delta. Delta 1 means the double bond is between first and the second. Delta 2 means the double bond is between 2 and 3. Now let us say the example. Now this is 3,5. Delta 2, why? Because the 3,5 delta 2. And see the naming. You are naming giving the naming of a saturated ring. So pyrrolidine is a saturated ring. Okay. Your naming is very much careful. So your parent name is a saturated, that is pyrrolidine, N oxide. And there is a double bond between second and third. This is how you name the structure heterocycle with maximum saturation and minimum unsaturation. Such compounds you put a delta, and delta represents the position of your double bond. So next again 2-dim pyrroline, that is double bond at the second and the third carbon. So this is how you can give, where the unsaturation is less and the entire ring is saturated only at 1 or 2 position of a ring. There is double bond compared to the entire ring. So if there is maximum saturation and unsaturated at one position, you put a delta in the molecule, in the naming, which represents the position of the double bond, which presides over the naming. It prefixes over your name of your base compound. Okay, this is how you can write the naming with the partial unsaturated heterocyclic compound. So these are some of the basic rules which we have example how to give the naming of the compound. This is the rules, some of the basic rules which you have to use when you name an heterocyclic compound. So these are some of the basic